Hey everyone, welcome back to my next video. Well, we are back looking at this portable suitcase diesel heater. And it's just a diesel heater like every other diesel heater, except it's in this box, so you don't have to mount it. Now, I've done an unboxing and we looked at all the details of the heater. So if you want to go back and watch that again, you'll get the close-up shots of everything. I probably won't show that now. So we've unboxed it, we've been using it, did the setup, and it all went pretty well. Sometimes these things can be a little bit on the tricky side to get set up. This was not. I didn't do it. Let me say that right off front. I had a friend who did it for me, and I'm very grateful to him for that. So we'll just talk about it a little bit, and then we'll actually start it and run it for you. Everything's gone really well. There are a ton of videos on YouTube already about how to start these and the initial startup and all of that. And I'm just going to let you go watch that. I'm not going to cover that. There are a lot of good videos on it that I think would do a better job than I would. So this is the hose that came with it, and this is completely inadequate. The only way this would work is if you were putting the heater inside your rig with you. That means you're putting, now the exhaust goes outside, of course, and the input can be on the inside. It can draw air from the inside, and that's probably an advantage in that it's warmer air. So it's getting warmer air in. When it fires, the combustion chamber fires, warmer air will come out. You can put this inside, and then you would have to get a much longer extension on the exhaust. This is the exhaust. It's got a muffler on it, and you can just get an extension on it and run it outside. This would be inside. You could mount this on a wall. You could mount this almost anywhere and then run the exhaust outside. And a lot of people will want to do that. That will work well. The advantages to mounting it outside, having it portable like this, are that the noise is outside. It's a little bit on the noisy side, I think, high and low. The low is not bad, and it's putting out less heat, of course. It's a 5,000, 8,000. I'll show you all this. The advantages are the diesel fuel tank is right here. This is, if I open this up, there's diesel right there. The diesel's outside, never comes inside. The noise is outside and never comes inside. And you just vent in with a simple vent the extra heat, the heat. So this is outside. This just goes one small hole for this to come inside and blast your air. This is the heater tube that came with it. And I just, it's a 3-inch, double check that, and yours may be different, but this is 3-inch. And there were some really junky quality ones of these. This one is very good quality. I would recommend this one, and there will be a link down below. So like if you are using an air rooftop tent, and that's what a lot of these are used for, or your car, you're in your car, you don't have your room in your car for almost any kind of a heater. And so this goes outside, and you could just even run this through your window, just drop your window, and then you'd have to put a piece of cardboard or a piece of plywood that you cut to fit, roll the window up so it's sealed, and then you're just bringing in the heat, and you're not cutting any holes at all in your car. So I went ahead and got it, and this is the manual that came with it, and if you'll notice, this manual says Vevor. Now, I think they're the biggest company in this space. Well, both in diesel heaters that you install and these portable ones. And I think they make them all. And this was actually, the brand name on this one is H-Calorie. I don't know, where do they get these names? H-Calorie was the brand name on this. Actually, right now, this is not on Amazon. The Vevor still is. You can buy the Vevor. So it's going to be the exactly same thing. And the Vevor right now is $149. It's $150 for this with the Vevor brand name. We already discussed it. You really should go watch that video. It went well. The install went real well. The one real big comment was there were some places where there were no grommets. And eventually, just from wear and tear, if it's outside the wind or from the inside just being moved around, you would definitely cut a hole through whatever was going through it, whether it was a hose or a wire. So look at all the grommets, and I think it was probably just a manufacturing mistake. It should have had grommets. If it doesn't have grommets, put grommets in. Some of the YouTube videos talk about the problem with a problem getting this to sync. with the initial setup, and this one was not a problem. It just synced right up and went just great. It really was pretty much pain-free, and that doesn't mean yours will be, but there's almost certainly a YouTube video explaining how to overcome the problem if you do run into one. Of course, the manual is Chinese reconverted to English. It's pretty worthless and incomprehensible at times, so you just live with that. That's where YouTube comes in, isn't it? So when you initially turn it on, you hold down the start button, and there's, like all diesel heaters, they use glow plugs because diesel does not like to ignite. That's one of the great things about diesel, is it doesn't want to ignite and blow up on you, whereas gas does. So they use this glow plug, and it's going to take a few minutes for the glow plug to warm up the combustion chamber, and it's watching all itself. You don't have to do anything. And then once the glow plug has warmed it up, it will kick on. And now I have actually smelled some diesel, and it has a little click, and that's the pump coming on. So it's completely warmed up, and it's putting out a lot of good warm air. And there's a pretty, I've got a mic right here. I don't know how well you can hear all that. I would be glad to have this thing outside of the house. The exhaust is quite warm and a very good volume. So it's on high right now. It has 5,000, 8,000. This is high. And we have used thermometer on it, and it's about 220 degrees. And I'm not going to be able to hold this. I'm not going to be able to hold this for a whole lot longer because it's getting pretty warm. And so this is really hot air, 220. Yeah, this is getting really, really good and warm. These things work so well. But again, it's just working perfectly, and I can't hold this anymore. So as you can see, I'm holding it with a stick because it's already too hot for me to pick it up and hold it. And now I have turned it down to low. I can still hear the fuel pump clicking in there, much, much more muted. The core unit, the combustion chamber with the glow plug and all that stuff, it's exactly like every other diesel heater you can possibly buy. A couple of manufacturers in China make them all. And so this is the way it will sound inside your house, inside your rig. If you do mount one, you don't get the portable, you mount one. This is what it's going to sound like. It doesn't sound any different. But the fuel pump will be outside, and that should make it a little quieter. But this is the way it sounds, and it's not bad. I don't think this would bother me. I'm sitting right on top of it. I got a mic right on top of it, and you're not going to do that. You're going to put the things under your bed or under a seat. I've seen people who put them under their front seats if they have a big space there. You're going to put it away so that you're not listening to this, but it isn't a problem. I could sleep with it, no problem. I like white noise, and of course, if you put this outside, then that problem's eliminated. Except for the air blowing in through the ducting, the noise will be all outside. It should really, really help. So noise should be a huge plus to this if it's outside. Now, the one thing you want to bear in mind with this is the electronics is just hanging right here. And of course, you have the remote. It'll be inside with you. But the electronics are right here, and they are not waterproof. They don't pretend they're waterproof. If it rains and gets on this, they're destroyed. Your combustion chamber is going to work fine, but the electronics will be destroyed. So that's something to bear in mind all the time. If you put it outside, I would even say if you've got a heavy dew night, these are not intended to be wet. So that could even damage it. That's a thing to consider. How are you going to keep this dry if you do keep it outside? You do have to have electricity. And so you can see this was very simple. So it comes like this, the electronics coming out of it. And so you just have to put ring terminals on it to go on a battery. If it's not long enough, it's actually a fairly long wire. This would work. If you wanted to put this outside and connect it to a battery inside, all you'd have to do is cut these and then add an extension. And for a lot of you, that'll be easy, and for some of you, it'll be hard. But I don't think it'd be hard for you to find someone that could do it. It's not a difficult wiring. It could be intimidating, but it wouldn't be. If you had a Jackery, what you'd have to do is wire on a cigarette lighter plug, and then you could just plug it in, and that would be a very simple solution. That would just mean wiring on a cigarette lighter plug. That isn't hard. I think you could find a YouTube video and learn how to do it, or you could find a friend that would do it for you pretty easily, I would guess. So that will solve the plug-in problem. Now, one issue you might run into if you do want to do a a cigarette lighter plug is that this is drawing 10 amps, full 10 amps. And so some cigarette lighter plugs, the wiring is too light to carry 10 amps. It should be, but a lot of times when people install those, they use too light a wiring and 10 amps will blow the fuse. It won't pull 10 amps through it. You may have to rewire from here as an extension with 10 gauge wire. If you rewire this with 10 gauge wire, that should be plenty. And then you still have to make sure that the cigarette lighter plug itself is capable of putting out 10 amps, because a lot of times they won't be. So if the cigarette lighter plug doesn't work for you, and it may very well not, you can always buy an SAE, and that's what these are and what they're called. It's a quick connect, and it's got two ends, and they can only connect together in a certain way. You can't do them wrong. And so you would just cut this and wire this at the end of this cable. And on the other end that you've cut, now you have 4 bare wires. The other bare wire, you would put at your battery, whether you had to run an extension first or however it would work for you. You can even get SAE pass-through connectors through the wall of your van or whatever rig you're in. You can get a pass-through so that you plug this into the pass-through of your van if this were going to be outside. Another step up, and I think a much better connector, is an Anderson connector, and they're better connectors, and you'd be better off going with an Anderson connector. And actually, in some ways, it's simpler to use, but if it's something you're not comfortable with, the SAE is a little simpler. And then now becoming very popular is something called an XT60 or XT90. I don't have any of those right here with me. Amazon sells all these, and anybody that's at all familiar with electronics could set any of these up for you. So just to remind you, I went ahead and popped this off. Gas tank, the fuel pump. This is all one really well self-contained unit. Seems reasonably well constructed. I think it'll last you a while. The combustion chamber is down here, and they're all identical. This will be identical if you buy one to mount, go through the walls, drill holes through the walls, and then it'll be the exact same combustion chamber. This is the combustion chamber. This is the fuel pump. This is the fuel tank. That's really the 3 components of any one of these: is the fuel tank, the fuel pump, and the combustion chamber. And of course the control module, which probably will be attached but may not be. These come in 2 different sizes, is what I've noticed on Amazon. This is the tall, thin one, like a suitcase, and the other one is much shorter and wider. I think it still has a 5-gallon gas tank, diesel tank. I'm not 100% sure of that. I'd have to look. But it's a slightly different configuration. And so this is so tall and wide. You see, we've added 2x4s to mount it to. Also, all of them, the exhaust, the outgo exhaust and the ingo air filter come straight out the bottom and do a hard corner. And you have to mount them on something, because the hard corner is not hard enough to make this bend here. You have to lift it up, and because it's tall, the fuel tank's right on top here. You need extra stability, so these are just a couple of 2x4s we've screwed it into. If I were going to buy it again, I would definitely buy the shorter, wider one, is what I'm thinking. I haven't seen one, but that's what I think. Okay, well, I'm going to quit here. I've told you way more than you probably want to know or care about. Again, there are a lot of good YouTube videos about making these things start. I'm just giving you the conclusions we've reached on how it's gone. It has gone super well. I do highly recommend these. There are people for whom this is your only solution. The heater needs to be outside, and other than this thing getting killed in the rain, I think this is a really good solution for a lot of you. And even some of you with vans, you maybe want to not mount it. You may not want to cut all these holes in your van. With one of these, you would not have to cut a hole in your van. You can always use your front windows, and let it through up there. You will have to buy a new pipe, because that wasn't much. I think it was around 20 bucks, so I'm just guessing, but I'll put a link down below. And this is highly recommended. For some of you, this is the only solution that will work. And for you, I hope you'll consider it. And for everyone else, if you have the skills and it all works, they're cheaper to buy the mounted ones and then just go with the mounted one. Diesel heaters really work, and this one works really well too. Okay, I hope that helped you. For some of you who need an option, I hope that was an option. If you got anything out of this video, like us on YouTube, subscribe to the channel, hit that thumbs up button, and we'll talk to you later. Bye now.